Hello, YouTube. Our thousands of subscribers.
Hi, Elijah.
Uh, that would be great if he. I actually got him to read Dungeon Color Crawler Carl, and
So another
I think he
book
are.
club spinoff.
No, I haven't even talked to him about it yet. He's on like vacation, but just because it was so nerdy, I knew he would love it. Okay. What are we? Poppy War. Uh, it's a very good book. I have like there's like things about it that kind of bug me, but for sure it's like well written. This chick's a good writer for sure. The lore is deep. I feel like we're barely scratching the surface. I think more will come, but it's deep, it's interesting, and it has I guess it's like fairly unique, which I think is like hard to do these days. The fact that like it involves drugs and needing to get high is interesting too. Um, let's see though. My there's like a couple of things. It was kind of hard to get into like at first. Like the first couple of like the first maybe like chapter and a half. I was just sort of like, what is going on? This is not an actual an actual bad thing against it, but I have written down like the curses are so lame, like great tortoise and viper's tits. It's like wild. Like I appreciate when like when like authors like have like their own curses for a world because I think that's like good lore build like world building, but like great tortoise. Every time someone says that, I'm like, I just can't. Um,
It's
let me
because it's their
see.
god, right?
Well, right. I guess just maybe the gods are lame. That's what it comes down to maybe. But
Fair.
um, let's see, or like the god names are lame, or I don't know. What's is her name Rin? Yeah,
Rin.
I didn't really think about what I think of her specifically. She's not annoying. She's pleasant. I don't know how much I like her yet. So kind of neutral on her, I guess. But it's good that she's not annoying. I feel like not having an annoying main protagonist in a fantasy is like the hardest hurdle for artists to get over. But so far she's pretty good. Like the couple of times she was being like not even like annoying, but like she was being like irrational. Like I at least like kind of like would get it. Like when she got flustered when she like first walked in on that boy. I can understand like just any normal person getting that way, just getting anxious and whatnot. But like she's usually level headed and making like normal good decisions, not just being stupid for the sake of a plot. So that's all good. Um, Dang, the chapters, I hate how long they are. And the thing that bugs me the most too is like they have all those breaks in between, and there's like no
And you think
reason
you're
for them to
done.
be as long as they are. Yeah, like you could
Ugh.
easily just be putting more chapters where they do those little break things, but like nope, instead. Are her other books that way? I can't remember, but she's makes it a little harder to read, but it's also not like an actual
My
detriment.
homie. Sorry.
Did you say your hubby?
My homie.
Oh, homie. Got it. Um, let me see. Another part of the I guess the lore. I got a little bit confused. So the Empress that's like currently that like she like just ran into, that's the one that they were talking about from like the mythology who got it's the same person who's like
Yeah.
immortal, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like literally the same person. When she like first when either she or I can't even remember, but like when her like beauty was being described and like how captivating it was and like how it like put people into a spell just being her in her presence. I thought that was kind of dope. I mean, I how I think I complain about this all the time, like all these like arrestingly beautiful, devastatingly beautiful, all these like because beautiful's not good enough, like women need to like come up with these like hype terms for them and stuff, but like I like that her beauty like has an actual lore purpose to
Mm.
it. That's kind of cool. I haven't really heard of that before. Um and then the other thing that I'm not sure of so far is the pacing of the first part I thought was like good, and I was like here for it, and then the pace, and then like skipping through time and everything that's happening so far in part 2, I'm like, "Geez, what?" It's like, uh I would have been perfectly fine if we were, like, still in the school and she was, like, slowly learning, and I don't know I wonder, like, have we now sped up to kind of, like, the present? Or I wonder, like, when we get to part 3, is it, like, another few years in the future and we're just sort of, like, flying through right now? But at least right now, maybe because it's still transitioning, like, my brain hurts and I don't like it as much, but it's interesting what's happening. I want to see more. Uh, uh yeah. I don't know where I'm at. Like, I have these, like, nitpicks, but, like, overall, I'm still enjoying it, and I can just tell it's a good book. So, kinda where I'm at so far.
I can go.
Key. I pressed the record button.
Overall, I'm enjoying the book. I agree with Darren. I was like, fuck, what did I choose? Like in the first couple of like the first chapter, I was like, oh my god. And then I remembered it was long. I was like, fuck, I chose a book I'm gonna have to get through like this. And I was like, oh my god, okay, you know what I mean? But I pushed through. And overall, I'm really enjoying it. I agree. This woman or this author really knows how to write. I really enjoy their writing. Um, so that's a plus. I think it's well done. One thing that kind of throws me about this book is the timing, and this is the same thing that happened in her other book.
Hmm.
And to be fair, I think it's something to do with the setting because other books. So my issue is I never know what fucking time period we're in. I don't know if we're in like historic 1800s. I don't know if we're in the fucking 2000s and 1990. Like I have no clue. And I felt the same way with the old book too. Because until somebody from the outside comes in and like mentions, like, remember in the Sword of Kaigen, like he's like, oh, my dad's building cellular towers. We're like, oh, we're at this point in time. That's how I feel like right now. Is like, where the fuck are we? Like, where are we on the timeline? Like, what? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if it's like a this author type of thing or maybe just like books in Asian settings because they're so traditional in the sense that they don't really tap into what I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyways, another thing about this book too that kind of throws me is like the huge chunks of time that we're jumping through, which I don't mind because obviously like it speeds up the pace and I appreciate that, like we get through it. But there's like huge chunks of time from like one thing to the other. Like the whole pig thing was an entire year. Like from her starting school to right now, it's been 2 years. From the very start of the book to like her passing the test was another 2 years. So there's just like huge chunks of time that like kind of like I'm like, okay, well, where the fuck are we at? Um, so that's that.
I think
I
like the
really like
difference
Rin.
I think like the problem with the time chunks in my mind, now that I'm thinking about it, now you're talking about it, is that like a lot of times when time chunks happen, I like think about it logically and I'm like, did I really want to know what happened during that year? Probably
Yeah,
boring. No. But in these ones,
yeah,
like I think I would have liked to know what else happened during her teaching. Like I actually think I wish I knew. So like maybe that's why I feel weird about it.
yeah. I do think she does a good job of like wrapping up everything that happened in those time chunks, though.
Fair.
Like she has like a couple of sentences where she talks about we did this, this, and this, and that. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna knock her for that because I do think that like obviously we can get into. Hold on, we can like get into more detail about certain things. But I do think with those time chunks she does do that. Um, the whole like fantasy about this is like super interesting, like the shamanism and the gods and everything. I think that's really cool too. I do like Rin. Sometimes she is fucking annoying, but for the most part, she's like level headed and okay, which I appreciate. But my favorite character obviously is her teacher. I think he's fucking hilarious with the fart noises and shit. And like the way he was just like flitting around and just being crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and I appreciate Rin. I think this author does a good job at writing female characters because I really enjoyed the mother, like strong female characters, because I really enjoyed the mother in her other book too. And I feel like her and Rin have like same like some of the same qualities that we gloss over in women, like when they're writing like strong female main characters. So I appreciate that. The story itself is good. I think it's interesting. Like I really want to know what's happening. But at the same time, I have no clue what the fuck's happening, if that makes any sense. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with Tyr, like I was so confused. Was that in the past? Was that like present? Is it the Empress? Did she betray them? Like what the fuck was that? I don't know. Like why? Like she killed him, right? But the Empress was just like, oh well, what? You know what I mean? Like that kind of confused me. I was gonna ask for clarification from you guys too. Um,
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. It
Other than
was
that,
either in the past or maybe when they said he was dead, he was not actually dead, and then that's when he. But yeah, I couldn't really tell either.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because at the end of the day, like, I don't really know where the like. I get it, but I don't know where the fuck we're going. Like, I know what's going on, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, so like, what are we trying to get at here? What's is like the whole book like her entering into her shamanism? Is the book about a war and the kike? I don't know. So that's like my thing. I think it just comes with like reading more. But other than that, like I have no major issues. I think it's a good book. It's well written. It's interesting. Um, Also the language throws me off too because I talk modern. So I'm like, okay, so this has to be, in a weird time period of time. Anyways, other than that, I'm just curious to see what happens. Like, I'm curious, but I'm not like on the edge of my seat, if that makes sense. And that's how I feel about the book in general.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, my turn.
Mhm.
I'm pretty much invested in the story. I want to see where it goes. But like Julia said, I'm a bit confused as to what the timeline is. Like, at what point in time is this happening? Because when we read history, there's a tendency for us to assume that it's taking place in the past, like years and years in the past. But the language feels a bit too modern for it to be taking place in the past. So I'm assuming this is something that happens in the future, or like completely just get rid of our current timeline and just place it somewhere completely new, because it wouldn't make sense for us to place it in our world's timeline because obviously it's not from our world. So that part is confusing me. Usually when fantasy authors write fantasy books, sometimes their language don't really match up. Like, for example, our good old favorite Rebecca Yarros, she is a romance author. When she wrote Fourth Wing, remember how the language felt iffy to us? It was too Gen Z to be in a fantasy setting. It's
Yeah.
not quite like that with this book. I think she is doing a better job, but I do get the sense that some phrases are a bit too modern to fit into a fantasy setting, and that's kind of throwing me off. At the beginning of the book, it was fine, and then like once she was in the college, it started getting a bit weirder, and that was a bit off-putting. But apart from that, the story itself is good. I kind of want to place it somewhere a notch or two below Mistborn. It's not like Mistborn, but Rin Win, it was giving me whiplash because like now I cannot disconnect the two. Like Rin Win, oh my gosh, they're the same person. If you really think about it, they are kind of the same. So
Yeah.
I
Oh my
was
god,
like,
you are true. You are right.
I
Yeah.
kind of already formulated this perception of Rin already based on Win, and now I cannot unsee it. To me, they're basically the same person. But yeah, I can definitely tell that this author spent a lot of time with the lore and the characters. I feel like she gave her characters a lot of depth. My favorite so far is Kita. He reminds me of Elon before he became
Oh yeah,
the
that's true.
emperor. Like when he was all nerdy and scrawny and bookish, that's what Kita is to me. And I love him so much. He's my favorite character. I hope he doesn't die. Please don't die. Yeah. What else? The story is good. The lore is good. I probably got 80% of what she's talking about. I didn't fully grasp everything because there's so much. It felt like reading a textbook at times. But it's good. The amount that I got is captivating enough, so I'm on board. The only time I got the ick was when she removed her womb because she was so disgruntled by getting her first period. I was like,
Oh,
gross.
yeah.
Children should
That
not be
was
making
something
such
that
permanent decisions. Children should not be mutilating their bodies like that. And I don't know whether the author was trying to make a political statement, but I'm trying not to bring that in. But
Yeah, I
that
actually
was
forgot to
weird.
write that down. I think that was one of like maybe like 4 times where I thought about it and I was like,
Yeah.
this is an unnecessary piece of information and it
Right?
sounds political.
yeah.
Like it feels like
Yeah,
you're trying to make a
exactly.
Yeah.
statement here. And this does
Exactly.
not belong in this story like at
Yeah.
all.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you want to make an argument for it, you can say if anyway, if it was gonna make sense, it makes sense in a war college. Like these children are probably never gonna. I don't know. I don't know. It was weird. I was like really uncomfortable with it. Like, you got your period once. When I was 16, I always told my mom I wanted to get rid of my systems too. But like, I didn't because what did I know?
Another one of them is her self harm. How she's like burning herself, right?
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I didn't like that.
and I mean,
I did not like that.
I it's like cool, I guess, that you want to show she's like determined, but there's like a million ways to do that without showing mutilation, and it's weird. Like it just wasn't really talked about, and I'm like, where did that come from?
That was.
And there is like a specific line where she was doing it like the second time when she was in college, and she's like, "Oh, it was something like, oh, I liked it, or I something," and I was like, "Oh, fuck no, girl,
yeah,
I'm not trying to."
I don't. Yeah. I know that
I
was
like,
pretty solidly weird. Pretty solidly weird. I didn't really. Yeah.
And like, I know the Asian educational system is brutal. Like, recently, a couple of weeks ago in China, they took that big college entrance examination, and it's intense. It's so crazy. Like, buses don't run on the roads because they try to be quiet enough so that the children can study and take the examinations. It's that serious. So maybe she was trying to bring in that culture into her book, but the self-harm was weird. It was really creepy. But apart from that, the story itself is interesting. Let's see where it goes. I hope it doesn't get too weird in the future.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
No, but for real though, I think she is bringing a lot of like political statements into it. Like, for example, Alton's land, his people, how they were like demolished, they were used as pawns, and like how they were like completely wiped out, genocide and everything. I see that she is trying to bring certain elements into it, but like if we just disregard that, it's a good story, not bad.
I feel like the classism too.
Oh yeah,
right.
And the colorism, because she is darker skinned, right?
The colorism and the classism is like another one that I like. I clocked, but I was like, okay, it's part of the book.
Yeah. So let's see where it goes. But yeah, how do I feel about Rin?
Okay, so
she's okay. Like, let's see. I like Kitai better.
What were you gonna say, Julian?
I was gonna talk about the lore so I can like flush it out in my brain and like what you guys think of it too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay. So I don't know. I think so. The Empress is the Viper, right?
Yes.
And then Jiang, what's his name? What's the teacher?
I think it's Jiang.
He's a gatekeeper, right?
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Oh.
I think he's a gatekeeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that mean he's like currently possessed with the gatekeeper, or is he the original gatekeeper?
Oh fuck. I think he's the original gatekeeper. He's and that's why they don't get rid of his class, and that's why he doesn't. They don't do anything to him because he's a gatekeeper, and the Empress knows.
Okay.
That's my theory. I don't know. That's what I picked up.
No, yeah, you could be right. I hadn't even thought of it.
So that's what I'm wondering. Who's the third person?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, okay, well, if that's my theory. Like, okay, well, who's the third person?
Is he Nezha's dad, the Dragon Emperor? You think that's him?
I don't know. That's why I was just like, okay. Because in my theory, there's two people that out of the three, but maybe we haven't been introduced to the third. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just completely wrong. But for sure, the Empress is the Viper, right?
But at one point, they did say that two of them died and only the Empress is still alive. So... yeah. Is it that?
Well, no, it wasn't. I don't know. That's why I was confused. I was like, okay, so... And then, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, too. And that's why I'm a little bit confused. It's like, okay, we clearly got the backstory about the gatekeeper, the Empress, and whatever. So, like, what are we trying to get at? Is it the war? Or are we trying to get at that the Empress... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, who invaded them?
Yeah.
And how was the Empress part of that? Because the Empress killed the ship that was protecting them. So is the Empress part of the people that invaded them? Do you see what I'm saying? Or did I like read it wrong?
No, you're right. That part was confusing because she killed a guy called Tai or whatever.
Tyre.
Yeah,
Tyre,
him.
whatever, yeah.
She
And he
killed
was
him.
that's who Atlan position he took. So as part of their crew, it was obviously part of them because Atlan took his position.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
These are good questions.
Yeah, I don't know now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I took it as Empress was on quote unquote the good side, just Rin's side. But I could see that. Yeah, I don't know. And I guess the fact that she blacked out doesn't help because then all of a sudden she comes back and there's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, weird.
And then also, obviously, I think the Empress is bad. I don't know what's going on. Maybe she's like funneling the power for herself. Maybe it's ulterior motive. I don't know, because remember how Jin was just like, I'm not going to let her know about you if she doesn't know about you. And he didn't want anybody to know about her. Well, specifically the Empress.
Yeah.
So I'm just confused about the Empress in this and like who's invading who. And if she killed Tyre, whatever, is she in on it? So that's why I was like, I'm kind of fucking confused. I don't know. Because who the fuck is invading? I don't know who's invading. I'm literally so confused.
And this is kind of what I mean about like, I'm not sure. So there's two things that are in my mind. First of all, the way she has it set up, I'm not sure if I'm down with like the way she time jumped. Because I'm not necessarily saying that I wanted to like Harry Potter this thing and like get like every single year. It's more that like there was just I feel like before she was in the war all of a sudden and she was doing that battle, we needed more.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to say that like some books, like it's like some of the lore is kind of left like unexplained, but it's like it's cool, it's just sort of there. Like I feel like we need more before we got to these big battles, and we didn't,
Right.
unless we missed it somewhere. Like I just don't think we got it.
The only indication that we got of a war that was gonna come was when she was staying with Katai and he said, my dad is on high alert. They don't know it, but this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. And that was the only indication we got of this. And then all of a sudden, the fence is down, logs falling, people are coming up from the dead on fire. And I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Right.
What happened?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, okay, let me ask you guys, because I was like, maybe I just misinterpreted it. Maybe I didn't read it. Like
I just not sure if there's like enough info. There's not enough data because I'm confused too.
Find out as we read more. Maybe that was her intention, just to like kind of slowly wean us in, and like we're just at the tip of the iceberg right now. I'm hoping, because I don't think all three of us missed what's happening. That time jump was crazy.
It's very jarring.
Yeah.
And so like this was I was saying there's like, so this is like the other thing that I'm thinking, and obviously like there's like this is not going to happen and there's no way for me to change this, but like I almost wish that with what's going on right now, we had more of a, instead of doing it as it is right now, we had more of a Throne of Glass situation where the book just started, it just threw us into the conflict and we're just learning about it then, and then maybe like through flashbacks we would have like gotten these things from behind slowly. Like that would have made more sense. But in my mind, this establishing stuff, it should have already happened because she was like already in school and we already had the background stuff, and now we're in the action. But it makes me feel like I missed something. It's just weird. I don't know if I like the structure.
The jump from part 1 to part 2 just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like at all. And that's what like that's I think that's the line where I'm like, well, what the fuck? Because like you said, like we don't have enough backstory. Like we obviously know they're in a war college, we know all of this, but then like I don't know, like I'm just lost a little bit. So I figured the more we read, the more we're gonna figure it out. But I just didn't like that I came to this like, okay, well, I see all these parts, but somehow the parts are not like fitting together for me. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm there too. Hopefully it gets better. I feel like it probably will. I mean, I still have faith in this author. It's just a strange setup so far. Like I don't. Yeah.
And then like the whole thing too, and that's what I was trying to get at earlier. It's just like, well, I don't know what we're trying to like what are we trying to flesh out here? Is it about Rin and her powers, when obviously it is? But at the same time, it's like about the war and Jin. But like, I like I said, I'm just a bit confused. I'm like, okay, well, And then like her pledging lore, and I do feel like she's like at the core of it or whatever, and she's able to tap into it. I just don't think I've read enough. I think I just need to read more to kind of put it together.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the pieces will fit together.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah.
I'm not like totally hopeless. It's just I don't know. It's like a weird feeling that I'm at right now.
It's not like when we read Fourth Wing and we were like, what's happening? Like, we knew that we were not going to get answers, but with this book, I feel like we will get answers.
Yeah. In Fourth Wing, it's like I was sure that the answers weren't even out there. It didn't even matter. Like, even if we learned them, it would still be stupid. With this one, you can tell this lore is fleshed out. You can tell she's cooking.
Yeah.
But we just don't know it yet. Like, it's like still being spoon-fed slowly. Yeah.
Totally.
And this is like one of those.
Sorry, go. You go ahead.
This is like one of those times where I appreciate like John Grisham and Stephen King, because like we have all these weird ass details, but like we know, like in the context of it's gonna make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And like at this point, like I feel like that could be that, but it's just too jarring for me to like accept that so far.
I agree.
If that makes sense.
I agree. Where like with those guys, it's not even just that you trust them, because I mean the John Grisham one, it was the first one we had ever read, so it's not a matter of like it's not a matter of like established trust. It's just as you're reading it, you have like a feeling, and with this one, you're just sort of grasping, and you're like, what's important, what's not. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, should I have remembered that? Should I have not? Like it's just like all over the place.
That's how I feel. Yeah. I'm trying to like save all the details because I can't flush out like, or I can't like figure out like what's important and what's not important, and that's what's like annoying, because then I'm holding all this fucking knowledge in my brain, and then like I'm just like, okay, well we got to this point and I told all of that, none of it mattered.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
by the way, so you guys can like remind me, and did I get it already? I did get it. So there's actually, I should probably open this and like verify what I've heard online. So there's a novella. I don't even know if we can call it a novella. There's like a hyper short thing that we're supposed to read. And if you look at it on Goodreads, we're supposed to read it after the 5th chapter of the 3rd book. But it's like a 2.5 novel, but it's like, I think it's only like 20 pages long. I don't even know if that qualifies as a novella at that point, like a long essay or something. You should just
include it in the book.
I have no idea. But and it was released, looks like almost at the same time, like maybe like a week before or a week later. So like from the 3rd one. So like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And weirdly enough, there's no audiobook for it, because who would make an audiobook over such like a tiny little thing? So I have it, and it's in there, and we're supposed to read that later for some reason. Yeah.
Your book 3.
It's called The Drowning Faith, and like on Goodreads it says it's like meant to be read after chapter 5 of the 3rd book. Pretty stupid.
But yeah, that is dumb. Could have just been a chapter.
It's really dumb. Yeah, I have no idea. Anyways, so it's there. Oh yeah, bye YouTube. Probably no more
book